Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday evening, September the 3rd, 2023. I hope everyone is safe and doing as well as possible. And another week has passed, and this is Labor Day weekend for people in the U.S., so tomorrow is a holiday for a lot of people. But anyway, I would like to welcome everyone to the show tonight. This will be my weekly update that I'll be putting on YouTube, where we're going to go over methane and sea ice and climate related items. And I know the show was really long last week. I'm going to try and keep it quite a bit shorter tonight. Last time I started out by going over viewer comments on my YouTube channel, and so y'all seem to like that, so I'm going to do it again tonight. And I'm going to go from the bottom up, so it'll be the first ones that came in and up on my show from last week. And the first one was from Jean-Jacques Dessalines. I don't know how you say that. It's French, and that's French, and I can't say it, but I found the translation on Google Translate, and he says, "Many thanks for your work and congratulations, Margo." Thank you, Jean. I appreciate you very much. I have viewers from all around the world. I think it's just cool. And then the next one is from Christine Armington, and she says, "Thank you so much for your faithful work every week." And heart. And well, you're welcome, Christine. I appreciate you. And then she left another comment saying the earthquakes around the geysers are especially shallow. And yeah, I know that is an area. I'll show y'all real quick. We'll get the earthquake map up. And what we're referring to is this area in Northern California, and it's called the geysers right here because this is a geothermal pumping operation here, and where they've drilled into the side of the mountains, which are this dormant volcanic area, and the water is hot, and that's why it's called the geysers. And so that's why most of these earthquakes are pretty shallow, and it's from the drilling and from the geothermal pumping operation that there's so many earthquakes here. And yeah, they're all pretty shallow, 1.7 1.5 kilometers deep too. But yeah, thanks for noticing that. Yeah, so that's why those are all shallow like that, because they've drilled into a volcano. Go figure. And then Larry says, "Merci, Margo." You're welcome, Larry. And then his assessment, he says, "What a great idea to go over readers' comments." you are appreciated by a small group of faithful fans. Yeah, it's what I found. It's a small, but it's like the same people who keep coming back. And he goes on, I don't know about the comparison. I didn't know about the comparison layer on NASA. I measured the extent and looked a little closer, and in my humble opinion, it was closer to November 22nd. He's talking about sea ice concentration in the Antarctic comparing to last year. So that means we might be almost 3 months ahead on the melt. That means that with spring and summer starting, there will be 24-hour sunlight on open water for the next 6 months. Since the southern hemisphere is mostly ocean and it's already a hot bath, I'll let you ponder the consequences. And regarding that comparison, you have to remember, we're just so low in the Antarctic this year. I mean, it's record low ice this year, and it's still growing a tiny bit, but not much. But so we're already down, so we're that much less starting out going into the melting season. And then finally he says, great show. That change in the Navy model for the Beaufort and the Ross reminded me of Are You Experienced? Yeah, that was pretty psychedelic. And he's referring to a song and album put out by Jimi Hendrix in the 60s called Are You Experienced? And it's pretty psychedelic music. So and it's even more psychedelic. They changed it again. We'll see tonight. And then Hey Jude gives a heart and prayer hands. Thank you, Hey Jude. I appreciate you. And then Ed Tremblay says, thank you so much, Margo. I always watch your videos faithfully. I'm so grateful for all the information you have shared. Unfortunately, most of my personal climate predictions are coming true, especially the accelerated rate at which everything is happening. Thanks so much for your time. You're welcome, Ed. I appreciate you being here, and another long-time viewer here. And it just people saying thank you it helps give me the confidence and the reason to keep going on and doing it week after week, day after day. And then Angel's Place says thank you, Margo, and gives me a blue heart. You're welcome, Angel. Thank you for being here. And Mr. Freshwater says thanks, Margo. Another great report. Keep it up. Awesome. You're welcome, Mr. Freshwater, and I plan on continuing with what we're doing as long as I can. And if y'all haven't done so, you need to go to my website and bookmark that, and it's margoshealingcorner.com. And bookmark that just in case something happens to my YouTube channel. And you never know what kind of new algorithms they're going to be putting in and things like that. But I will keep reporting even without a YouTube channel if I'm able to. And all of my YouTube videos are backed up on my BitChute channel. And so that's at bitchute.com/Margo. And if you'll go to BitChute and become a subscriber over there, then you'll get an email notification whenever I post something over there too. So I've got BitChute and then my Vimeo channel, and if for whatever reason, like I said, something happens with my YouTube channel, I'll do a weekly update and I'll put it on BitChute, and I'll put it as a public video on my Vimeo channel. I've decided that's what I'll do. But so go ahead and get the BitChute channel subscribe to, and make sure you bookmark my website, and hopefully all of that will stay up as long as we have internet. So you never know how fast things are gonna shake out. So I think that's all the comments that I had. Yeah, those are all my comments that I got from last week. So thank you guys. And we don't have to do a hurricane report tonight. So we're going to start with Climate Reanalyzer here. This is 2-meter maximum temperatures around the world. Oh, and I guess everyone has heard about the Burning Man fiasco this year. Out in Black Rock Desert. It's north of Reno. It's north of Pyramid Lake. And yeah, they got rained out this year, and it's all muddy and they can't leave. Well, I watched the local news tonight, and some of the burners are able to get out. I had heard they were on lockdown, but they're getting out. There are people getting out and, flying out already. So it was pretty much a disaster this year. And I'm not a fan of Burning Man, and it's not something I would consider going to. But there's still a whole lot of people, about 70,000 people out there in the middle of the mud in the desert, and they're waiting for it to dry up. And if you want to see where that is on the earthquake map, here's Reno, here's Lake Tahoe, here's Pyramid Lake, and there's a road that goes just to the east of Pyramid Lake. Is highway, I think it's 445 or 447, and it goes up here between these mountain ranges, and then at Gerlach there's a fork in the road just past Gerlach, and one fork goes off to the right to Black Rock Desert, and you go about how far is it? 4 miles? I think it's 4. I don't know how far. I haven't been there. But you go, here's the Black Rock Desert, and so they build the city every year, Black Rock City. And it's not a real city, that's just what they call it. for Burning Man. And then the other fork goes up into the wilderness area in up in northern Nevada. And so that's where Black Rock Desert is and Burning Man. And so I know where it is, and I know the area, except I just haven't been to that part of the desert. So we'll go ahead and move on. Oh, and it's cold. I mean, it's been raining. We're supposed to get some more rain, I think tonight, and it's supposed to be clear tomorrow. But the big rains are further east, and I don't think there's any more rain forecast for Black Rock Desert, but it might take a few days for that mud to dry up enough, and they may need help. You know, they may have to be towed out. The vehicle's just stuck in that mud, that playa mud just turns into clay, and it's sticky, and you know, you couldn't pay me enough to be there right now. You couldn't. It'd just be awful. But anyway, I wouldn't go anyway, even in good weather. But so here we are on Climate Reanalyzer, maximum temperatures around the globe, and we're seeing more aquas over the whole Arctic region and darker aqua, so it's moving into like 5 to 8 degrees below zero, you know, minus 5 to 8 here, coming up from Greenland. And then we've got greens still around the edges of the ice, and see cooler air coming down through Canada, and see even in yellows and greens. And here in the Reno area, we are in the cooler air, and it's pleasant. I think the high was in the 70s today, but and then there's still the high pressure dome, the heat dome over the middle of the United States and going up into Canada, and it's from Texas all the way up. And then there's heat in Mexico, Baileys down here, whites down there. Here there's a lot more whites in South America, whites across northern Africa, Middle East, India, but it looks like the heat has calmed down in Spain and Europe. France, you've got some reds, but I'm not seeing a bunch of whites through there. And the white denotes 40 degrees C or higher, or 104 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. Here's 2 meter temperature anomaly, and even with the colder air, it's still warmer than normal up here. We still have browns all across the Arctic Ocean, and we've got Greenland bipolar. It's brown on the right and blue on the left, so it can't make up its mind there. And then we've got dark browns on the Russian coastline here around the Barents Sea. And then a lot of blues in eastern Russia, mainly Siberia. And then browns from middle Russia or central Russia over through western Russia. Lots of blues in Canada, northern Canada, and then as you come down it turns into browns. Here's that heat wave coming down through Canada and Texas, and see here the blues on the west side that I'm in the middle of. South America, you're mainly browns, deep brown in southern Brazil, and then blues on the southern tip. Africa is mainly browns. And look at this, dark brown in northern China, and this is Mongolia here, and up into Russia. Australia, you've got browns and blues, and in the Antarctic it's cooled way down. We've got mainly blues, but we do have a red zone on the west side, so warmer than normal there, and here at the Weddell Sea. Here's our overview. Worldwide, we're up 0.74 C, higher than normal. Northern Hemisphere is up 1.13 C. The Arctic is up 1.42 C. The tropics are up 0.92 C. Southern Hemisphere is up 0.36 C. And the Antarctic is down 1.88 C. That's lower than normal. So the tropics are still elevated, along with mainly northern hemisphere and the Arctic for these higher readings. And precipitation and clouds today, and we've got rain on this east side of Greenland, and then snow as it comes onto land. And we had rain here yesterday, and I thought excuse me. Okay, I'm back. I had to pause. I had a coughing fit. I'm allergic to whatever's in this rain coming down. But anyway, I was saying yesterday there was a lot of rain up here, and I thought that it would show up as melting on Greenland, but it didn't. So I guess the air temperature is cold enough, but I don't know. We've got it showing warmer than normal, but I don't know why it's not showing melting. But anyway, go figure. We've also got rain. Okay, look at this. Rain over Alaska and Bering Strait. And anyway, rain coming up through the North Atlantic from Norway all the way over to Greenland. And it's raining here at the Hudson Bay, and then snow next to it. Here's our rain here in Nevada. See, it's right over right over Burning Man. Here's what's left of, I think that's Franklin there, hurricane. Here's the flat view. And we've got, looks like freezing rain down here in the Antarctic. So that's heating up, looks like. Here are the jet pieces of what's left of the jet stream. Yeah, look at that. All these breaks and loops. Look at this loop. All broken up. And see this hairpin loop. There were a couple of strange hairpin loops yesterday. Very weird. Anyway, it's all broken up. It broke about 1.5 years ago, and it's just gotten worse since then. We'll look at sea ice and snow cover in a little bit. And here's sea surface temperature anomaly for yesterday. And we've got browns and reds in the Arctic, and wherever it's been ice-free for a while. See, it's heated up. Here in the Beaufort Sea and Chukchi Sea. Here in the East Siberian Sea. Laptev, look at the Kara Sea. It's pinks and reds. And then the Barents Sea. And so on. And our big blob up here in the North Atlantic, it looks like it's a little less intense today. Not as red. We've got a red spot right down here, but it's still hot, but not as big and not as intense. So it's in like this dark red zone, which is about like what is that, 4 to 5 C higher than normal. Hudson Bay, you've got reds and browns, and we've got blue here in the Atlantic. This is where the hurricanes came up. And the reason I think it's blue is because the hurricanes pulled the hot water off the top, and then the colder water came up. I think that's what happened. That's my theory. Here's this evil eye in the North Pacific. It's getting redder. Here's the Atlantic, and different shades of brown. The Mediterranean is cooler than it has been. See, we got a little bit of blue here by the coast of France and Italy, and then browns. The Black Sea is heating up. It's into the reds. Here's the Caspian Sea. It's blue and brown. Persian Gulf is mainly brown. Red Sea is blue and brown. Here in the Indian Ocean, it's brown. And we've got brown coming all the way down to the Antarctic sea ice. And see the pink blob growing out from Japan. As I predicted, I said once they start legally dumping, they were saying, once they said they were going to be dumping the radioactive water here, that it would increase, that the sea surface temperature was increased, and it was already still pouring into the ocean. It never was fixed. And so we've had radioactive water coming into the Pacific ever since Fukushima blew up, and and now it'll be even more. And here's the Pacific view, and see it's like twice as big as it was just recently. See, it's all moving out here. Here's that evil eye, the blob in the North Pacific. And we're still hot on this equatorial Pacific. Reds and browns stretching across from South America. So there's that. Okay, now we'll move on to methane. And we're starting with the NOAA methane data for yesterday, Saturday the 2nd. And you can see we've got a lot of missing data here. A lot of it over Africa, the Middle East area. And coming up into Russia, there's just some areas that have some high methane. So this number might be a tiny bit skewed, but we're gonna count it. I did put question mark just so we know that there is a question here with all this missing data. So here we are, Met-Op-B satellite in the morning for the 1,000 millibar level. The mean or average was 1,849 parts per billion. And in the afternoon, see, we have a lot more data here. The mean was 1,847, so that's 2 points less than the morning reading. So not a big difference. And on the Met-Op-C in the morning, the mean was 1,844, and in the afternoon it was 1,846. And on the 487 millibar, back to the Met-Op-B in the morning with the missing data, the mean was 1932, so that's kind of up there. And in the afternoon it was 1929, so 3 points difference there. And on the Met-Op-C in the morning, the mean was 1892. Look at all these pinks covering the northern hemisphere. And in the afternoon it was 1895, and we got pinks here next to the Antarctic. So here's our weekly chart for just the Met-Op-C satellite, 487 millibar. I think we've got the most accurate reading with this one. And so for the second, it averaged out to be 1893.50, and we have a decrease this week of 1.5. So doing a little stair stepping here, which is common, and we're not at the end of the methane rising season. Not by a long shot. So let's see what happened this week. So here's where we ended last week. We were 1895.0, and it had gone up 4.0 last week. Then the 27th it went up 1.0, 28th up 1.0, 29th down 1.5, 30th no change, 31st down 1.5, on September 1st no change, and then the 2nd went down 0.5. So giving us an overall decrease this week of 1.5. So just some stair stepping there. And for the for MET-OP B and C together, 487 millibar. The second averaged out to be 1912.0, giving us a slight increase this week of 0.75 right here. And also you'll notice that I took out the data where it dipped down so low back in May and June. I decided to remove those weeks because it gave us a false sense of that it went down for a good reason, and most people are not going to they don't have access, to my spreadsheet to see what I say here, and they're not going to go back and watch my old videos to see what happened. But for about a month there, the MET-OP B satellite was just not even registering methane in the northern hemisphere for about a month, and so I decided not to count that in our valid data. So I took out those weeks, and so that's why you have the line here. That's from May 13th to July 1st. That's that time frame right there. And so it did go up. May 13th to July 1st went up 10.25. That's almost as much as you'd go up in a whole year. And I did the same thing with the 1000 millibar chart. I took out those weeks where it did that. And so here we are for 1000 millibar for the second. The average was 1846.5, and giving us an increase of 2.0 this week. That's with the missing data. So it's not out of bounds. It's not as high even as it has been so far this year. It's been doing some stair stepping. So there's that. Now we'll go over the CAMS methane data. This is from Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Services out of the EU methane forecast. And okay, reload it there. And our base time and valid time are both for Saturday, September 2nd. Arctic area and surface level is where we're starting. So the data is for Saturday and the forecast period is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So, Komsomolets is kind of waning, waxing and waning. You know, it's coming and going. Sometimes it's really billowing. Other times now it's kind of decreasing. But the big thing here is the Scandinavian area from Norway over into western Russia. Look at this, right around the coast, and see how it's streaming up over the coastlines there. So that is extremely high methane there. And yeah, it is interesting to note that the area that Natalia and Igor did their methane clathrate testing in, where they found all these frozen or semi-frozen clathrates were in this East Siberian Sea, and you know, they were so worried and saying that, you know, that could just explode at any time. We could have a 50 gigaton methane bomb go off, and you know, that hasn't happened. But we've had almost constant billowing and hemorrhaging here around Komsomolets for years now, and no one said anything about that. So why is that? And my theory is because I think that this area, I can't prove it, but my suspicion is that Komsomolets over this whole area from Komsomolets, Novaya Zemlya, and also Franz Josef Land, that this is mainly the Russian military, you know, has all of this, I'm thinking. That's my thought. And with that, that's why you won't see any methane testing in these areas. You won't see any, when you see charts of where they've done exploration, you don't see any around Komsomolets, you don't see any in the Kara Sea. It's mainly over here in the Laptev Sea and this East Siberian Sea. So that's my feeling on that. In which case, you know, we'll never know exactly what these readings are, or, you know, what it's from, whether it's from clathrates or whether it's from radioactive material that was dumped in the ocean in the Cold War, and you know, it's hot and it ate through the seafloor and, you know, melted a whole bunch of clathrates, and that's why it's continuous. Or if it's a sunken nuclear submarine, which we know there are several there, here, up here in the Arctic, this area, and you know, something went wrong there. Who knows? I mean, it's anyone's guess. We just know it's happening. Okay, so we've got high readings across the interior of Russia. I'm kind of rambling tonight. Here's China and coming up. Now here's the Russia border, and so we're seeing higher readings here in southern Russia. And see, even streaming out here. So anyway, Alaska interior, that's from the rain. Whenever you see rain, and then it'll heat back up. There's Canada, and the fires are still just burning away up there. Here's North Dakota, another hemorrhaging area, constant, and I've talked about it. And we've got a big area just below the Hudson Bay. Look at this eastern seaboard. This is since the hurricanes and all the rain came up. Look at that. That's in the forecast period, but it's mainly that eastern seaboard on the U.S. Frankly, I was expecting to see higher readings in these southern states, since they got so much rain from Idalia. Okay, now we'll go to the North Pole view. You can see UK and Ireland are covered up, and see spilling over the coastlines and streaming. Germany is pretty filled up. Here's the Persian Gulf, it's filled up. Here's India. See how it's spilling over the coastline. Same with China. See the spillover. And here around Korea. That's high methane. That is super high methane when you get that spillover like that. Now we'll go to the global view. So the main background reading is 1860 parts per billion, this lighter blue. We've got the next color down is 1840, this little darker blue. Seeing some wisps of that, but if you'll look here around the Indonesia area, you've got green. See the green around here? I think I'll zoom in there. So that's higher. So let's go off the beaten path here, and we'll look at what is it? Australasia view. Okay, see the green? It's really pronounced once you see it close up. That's not really the view I wanted though. Probably Southern Asia, Southeast Asia and Indonesia. There it is. Look at this. See the greens? So this is coming up out of the ocean like that. So that's moving into even the dark green color. So that is 1920. The dark green is 1920 parts per billion. See, right along in here. Oh, this is the dark green here. So see, it's doing it for China, and there's our heavy, that range. The range is 2160 to 10,000 parts per billion. That black or dark reddish brown. So when you zoom in is when it looks like everything's on fire. Okay, now we'll go to 500 HPA. And you can see the really heavy parts have really broken up and kind of spread out, and we've got more reds and yellows further south, reds and oranges as it's redistributing. Oh, okay, and then total column. Okay, it's starting to look like another Loch Ness monster here. And this is China. And see, it's swooping down over the ocean here. Covering the ocean and India and coming all the way across Africa here. So it's looking pretty bad. So there's that. And then we'll look at a couple more things from CAMS. Here's sulfur dioxide today, and you can see it's hung on. These higher readings have hung on and kind of spread out across the Arctic. And here's Popocatépetl. That's our highest reading today. It's right here at Popocatépetl volcano in Mexico. But these higher readings, they like to hang around in the colder air at the higher regions, 500 HPA. Here's the ozone hole over the Antarctic. You can see it's almost connected here to make a donut. So it is growing bigger and bigger. This danger zone area is humongous now, and it's 3 layers down in the danger zone inside this black line, and then it's blues or aquas and greens. So all the Antarctic is in an ozone hole right now. And this is typical by the end of their winter because of the cold air and the darkness. the ozone hole shifts down here. Although it doesn't do that in the Arctic during the winter time, and I don't know why that is. I don't know what the deal is, but anyway, here's the Arctic ozone, and we can see the hole here, aqua, and into the greens. Now this is the area where the methane is billowing so high, and up here methane will eat away at the ozone layer along with sulfur dioxide, and we saw the sulfur dioxide spread out across the Arctic region, and smoke from fires will make it spread out. Also, nuclear activity will kill the ozone layer, make holes in it, and or radiation, I should say. And see, we've got a hole here over Canada and a lot of the US. Here's the global view. And see, we've got yellows moving around. It's just shifting. See the greens? These holes. I mean, it's looking awful. Here are the fires for today with the smoke. Well, it's smoke. And here it is in Africa. Here's South America. And it's mainly in Canada today in the northern hemisphere. Here's the North America view. And so I don't see any dipping down from the Canada fires into the US. This over here on the west coast, this is in Northern California and southwestern Oregon with fires there. But relatively smoke-free in the US right now, which is quite amazing. Okay, so that's that. I'm just going to move right into sea ice. And this is, we'll look at our slideshow first at Climate Reanalyzer. I save these every week, every day, so y'all can see them. This is sea ice concentration and snow cover, and the white on the land area, you can see that's snow already. And so here in this sea ice, okay, Baffin Bay is open, Hudson Bay is open, these tributaries are open, I would call it open. Here's just a little bit of ice in a little area there, and this Beaufort Sea has collapsed. All that's left is really this little wispy ice here and a little line of ice just coming down from the coastline there. and it's melted in even more, and this the Chukchi Sea is open, East Siberian Sea is open, the Laptev Sea is pretty much open. It's still got this ice here just west of Severnaya Zemlya, and then it's still melting here. There's a hole in the rest of this northern part of the ice coming down. Here's the North Pole, and you can see the melting even south of that, and this east side is melting too. So let's just go through our pictures here from this week. So here we were last Sunday. Looks about the same. So we'll see how much it changed. I think we're mainly going to see changes over the interior. So here's today. Here's last Sunday. Monday. I'm sorry, I'm messing that up. So here's yesterday, last Sunday, the 27th. Here's Monday. So there's the melting. You see the darker patches coming in where it's melting. Here's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Look, we had a little regrowth there in the Beaufort Sea. Saturday, now it's going away. And here we are today, and it's going away, that regrowth. And it's even thinner today over that area. Okay, now moving on with the U.S. Navy model. Their latest data is on the Arctic sea ice thickness is September 1st, which was Thursday. They're probably taking Labor Day weekend off, so that's my thought. They'll probably catch up with posting next week. Here's the color ledger on the right, and so we're mainly seeing purple and blue and aqua. So from 0, which is the white, and the light lavender is just barely there, up into just the regular aqua is about 2 meters thick. Bright aqua is 2.5 meters thick, and that's the majority of what we have here. So we'll just zoom in. So this was 3 days ago, so it's still melting. So here's where it was on Thursday. Yeah, you can see all this Hudson Bay open, Baffin Bay open. This ice is what's just coming down out of the Darras Strait, I think. And these tributaries are pretty much open. This aqua ice is exiting through these holes. And here we've got what's left of the thicker ice is just above Canada and just above Greenland. And you can see the bright aqua is narrowing down, just a line here above Greenland and a little thicker line here above Canada. And then more dark aqua, we can see breaks forming in the sea ice. See, coming down through this Lincoln Sea area. Here's a little line of red along the Greenland coastline, and yellow and a little bit of green. The green is 3 meters thick. The red, the dark red is 5 meters thick, so it goes from 3 to 5, but just for a little bit there. And then the rest of this, I mean, it really should just be almost barely there. It should just be like light lavender, I'm thinking, for the rest of this. But this is what they have. And the North Pole is still around 1 to 1.25 meters thick, with the dark blue and purple there. So there you have that. Here's the 30-day animation, and the forecast goes out to the 6th, which is Wednesday. So let's see what they've got going. And it's still melting. It's slowing down on the melt as far as the extent goes, and usually we'll reach minimum extent around mid-September, actually around the 18th or 19th is when it happens. When is it going to happen this year? I don't know. It could keep melting, and we know that even when the extent it starts going back, it melts underneath, because the water coming in from the oceans are warm underneath. So, you know, there's a lot going on underneath the surface that we can't see, that we don't know about. So it's still melting in. I mean, even in the forecast period, see, it's getting more jagged there. I thought it would melt down as a nice little half moon, but no, it's real jaggedy. Okay, I'm gonna stop this at the end. Okay, here we are. Let's see. Okay, here we are on the 6th. See, there's the 6th. Here's this hole right above Greenland. See? And there's virtually no ice around Greenland on this east side. I mean, I don't think we should count that. So see, it's melting in here just above Greenland, and it's thinning out more and more. So let's go back. So here it was on Wednesday. last week. Or Thursday, yeah. Oh yeah, big melting going on. Big melting. So there's that. And here's the Beaufort sea ice thickness. Here's their new picture, new model, or whatever you want to call it. And this is for the first. They're showing wispy ice here, but it's just like a thin film on the water. Watch this. It's dancing. Why do they do that? See, they put a frame. They took a frame here and put it over here. Why did they do that? Here, I'll stop it. See? That's the edge here. And they repeated it over here. Did they mean to do that? It's like double vision or something. Maybe they do that for the forecast period. No. No, because the forecast, so is for the first, but then the forecast period goes out to the 8th. So where does it change? There. From the 27th to the 28th. Yeah, look at that. So, yeah, we've got 3 different pictures here, so it can't make up its mind. So we'll let it do it again. So it's still melting. Wow, these colors are a lot more vivid in the new model. Look at that. Psychedelic. Alright. Okay, here's the Antarctic sea ice thickness. And this is for the first. And we've got a little more extent coming in here in the Ross Sea. And here on the west side, coming back out. And thickening, more thickening going on, mainly around the coastlines. But the sun is coming up. You're going to be excited with what I've got to show you tonight down here on NASA Worldview. The sun is coming up. Here's the 30-day animation, and this goes out to the 6th. So let's see what they're showing. Yeah, a little regrowth happening. Here's the raw sea ice thickness. And this one is going to dance around too. This is from the first. And so the raw ice shelf is down here. And so, see, it's real thin right up at the edge, and then it thickens just a tiny bit. Not much as it goes out. It's thicker along the coastline. Okay, here's the animation. Watch. See? So it's got the frame too. I wonder what that's for. If anyone knows, put it in the comments. I don't know, maybe so you could compare what the thickness is over there. I don't know. There it is at the end. Oh, that's on. That goes to the 8th, okay. A little thickening there. So there's that. Here's National Snow and Ice Data Center for yesterday. Arctic sea ice concentration. And wherever it's blue, it's melting. And see, it's melting even more around this North Pole area, and see, even coming down towards Greenland and Canada. See, there's very little, just solid white ice, which is good concentration, but so most of it is in some state of melt, even with the colder air over it. And this is in collapse up here and all along here. The brown line is the median, so we're well in away from the median. And here's our extent chart. We're still going down. Here's the blue line is this year. The dotted line is 2012. So we're at a steeper angle down than the median right now. And still above 2012, but who knows what can happen in the next couple of weeks. Anything can happen. Here's the Antarctic sea ice concentration. And here's the regrowth chart. The blue line, this is this year. Here's last year. Here's the median. See, we're so far below. So this okay, this line here is 16 million square kilometers. 16, so it's just above that. So it's about 1650. And last year it's about 1750. So about 1 million square kilometers difference. Here's Greenland. It's just hardly melting at all. even with all the rain and snow up there. Here's the melt yesterday, just little dots around some of these edges. Here's the cumulative melt days for this year. And we've got some moving into purple, 80 to 90 days here on the west side. And here's the extent chart. And when was this? This was earlier this week. It zipped up. Or was this last week? I can't remember. Anyway, here we are right now. Right at the median. See, we're bottoming out. So it just depends on what kind of weather is up there and how warm the air is. Okay, we saw all of those. Okay, let's refresh. We're on NASA Worldview now. And it's the Arctic, and there's one layer that I like to use. Yeah, it hasn't been working the last few days. Sea ice concentration. So here's another sea ice concentration layer we can use. And this is pretty much identical to what we saw on National Snow and Ice Data Center. It's just from a different viewpoint, and we can go in, going closer to see. So let's see what's happened this week. So August, what was it, 27th was our show last week. Here we were last week, last Sunday. So I think all the days run together. Yeah. 27th. Okay, here we go. Here's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, it's decreasing, isn't it? Thursday. No, wait, that's Wednesday. Here's Thursday, Friday. What am I doing? Here's the 31st, 1st, 2nd, and today. So, a lot more melting going on here just above Greenland. And not too far from the North Pole. See, North Pole's right there. See, darker blue means more melting. It's already come apart. There's starting to see some open water in different places. So there's that. Okay, turn that one off. Turn that one off. And let's see what we can see here. And we're going to start up here at Greenland. Here's the Lincoln Sea. We've got some cloud cover. Let's see. Yeah, I just can't see much of anything. And the sun is going down, so it's at a different angle. It's getting lower to the horizon. So some areas we may be able to get a peak that we weren't able to before. Now here, if we're looking a little bit through clouds, but you can see the breaks in the ice. See the these dark lines. That's open water. See, these are big cracks that have opened up. There's the yeah, it's hard to see, but it's broken up. And here's the ice coming through the nearest strait. Here we go. See? Open down here. Open. And here's the ice coming out. And then here's where it opens into the Baffin Bay. These are all clouds. This is open. That's completely open. And here's the southern tip. So there's not much melt happening or runoff happening right now. And it should be towards the end of its melt season, but you never know. Here's our rain on the edge, and snow over the interior here. Here's the hull on the top corner. Let's look here. There it is. See how it's pulled away from the coastline. Back to today. Okay, let's go up. Here's Svalbard. Here's this east edge of the ice. Here's Franz Josef Land. See, this is melting. This is all melting. Look at this. Look at that collapse. The solid white, that's the ice pieces. And so it's ice cubes in jostling around in the ocean there. A lot of it is like that. Look, you can see as we come in closer to the North Pole, it's like that too. See? We're looking through a thin layer of clouds, but you can see the ice there. Same thing here. Look at this. So we can actually see things better with the sun at the lower angle than straight on when it's high noon. So this is all broken up at the North Pole. And down here too. See all this. Look at that. Here's the 80-degree north latitude line. Look at this. Look how far in this is melting. Okay, there's Franz Josef Land. Here's Severnaya Zemlya. And this is Komsomolets, the area, the infamous billowing area for methane. Then here's some ice right through here. And it's really cloudy. Here's Novaya Zemlya. It's open. This Kara Sea is completely open. Let's look at our algae. Here's the Barents Sea. Oh yeah. See the algae? It's all green. Look at this. It's bigger. It's up to the coast too. See? Look, here it was yesterday. See, it's come all the way up here. So it's a big patch, if you can imagine, from about mid-Novaya Zemlya, well, where this bottom island is, all the way to the coast. Yep. That is a huge algae patch there. Here's the Yamal Peninsula. Here's today. Let's go back. Here's yesterday. Here's the Taimyr Peninsula. Here's the Laptev Sea. This is open. Too cloudy today. There's yesterday. Let's see today. Well, this is open all around the Russia coastline. But look at all these clouds. Storms. Here's Wrangel Island. It's open. And, you know, what was it? The Navy model showed the ice bridge still here, but there's no bridge. I mean, this is the bridge. See, little wispies. That's all. I mean, I don't think they should even count it. And a big piece here and there. Look at this. And then coming around, here's Alaska. This is all open. Here's the Beaufort Sea. And see the wispy ice. I mean, this is just barely there. Just a little film. And they count that. I don't think this should be counted for extent. I think it should be of a certain thickness. Anyway, they didn't ask me. So, see this ice, it's all coming apart. So, Beaufort Sea is open. Here's yesterday. So you can see the open water. Open. And back to today. This is a good view. There's the ice. Look at this. And this had been part of the thicker ice, part of the aqua and bright aqua, but that's gone. There's a little bit further down. Okay, here's the coastline. See, it's melting along the coastlines here. Here's Ellesmere Island. This is cloudy. Here's yesterday. Look at this. So we've got open there around the coast. And today, and here's our huge melting going on. Let's see. And there's the North Pole. So there's that. And then we'll go to the Antarctic view. Look at this. Look at this. See? Almost all of the coastline is in view. And look how far in. It's all in the sun now. So, here's our Western Peninsula. And we can see here is the Brunt ice shelf. This is where it broke off last year, and so this is where it's refrozen on the sea ice, but this is the ice shelf here, and a big piece broke off here a couple of years ago, I think, and that had been part of the ice shelf too. But you can see the sea ice. You can see depth here. See, this is the edge going down. So and the front ice shelf runs all along up here, this whole area. And then here's our north side. Here's the east side. Here's the Amory ice shelf. And here's the sea ice there. Here's the Amory. I'm wondering why this is showing green. If it's just the angle of the sun or what. Yeah, it must be the angle. Because the sun is just now barely coming up. It's still low. Here's the sea ice. It's quite thin. Here's today. And here's the east side. And let's see. Here's the Totten Glacier. We like to track. Bunch of clouds here. Here's yesterday. That's a pretty good view. So here's the ice forming coming up, and here's the tongue that held on. And then coming around, here's the Ross Sea. And then here's the west side, and ta-da! Look, here's yesterday. Look at this. The area we've been waiting to see for months. And here's Pine Island Glacier, and there's open water right here. It did not refreeze up to the edge here where it had capped off last time. So there's open water. I mean, it's too warm for it to freeze because there are active volcanoes underneath here. And here's the Thwaites Glacier right here. We can't see any details because the angle of the sun. Here's the tongue, but we've got a big crack here. See, this is where it's refrozen, but it's didn't refreeze to the tongue. The tongue is separate. I remember this had broken off and broken up and into lots of pieces. So this refroze. It's not real thick, but it's there. So there's that. And then coming around and back to the Western Peninsula. This is the Weddell Sea, and the majority of the thicker sea ice is right in here. The aqua, right in here, next to the Western Peninsula. So you wouldn't know it, but that's where it is. Let's see. Can we see Ross Island? Yeah, look. Here's the tippy point of Ross Island and Mount Erebus. Look at that. That's our first view. You can see the shadow. That blue is the shadow from the volcano. Let's see. That model moves around. So the first day we could see Mount Erebus was yesterday. There. I think that's Mount Erebus there. Yeah, anyway. There's the ice. And here we are today. So that's it for that part. Now we'll look at some earthquakes. We've got today 191 worldwide. That's kind of an average number. We've got one here of 4.4 in the Norwegian Sea. It came in today at 10:44 a.m. Pacific time, right on the red line. Not seeing any huge ones today. 5.0 Azerbaijan. Let's see. Let's go to 7 days, all magnitudes. And in the last week, there have been 1,682. We've got 2 up here in the Norwegian Sea. Another 4.4, well, Greenland Sea 4.4. That came in on the 31st. Here's one on Iceland, right in the middle of the island, 4.2. That came in yesterday. And look at this. Spain, 4.6 near Sept, Spain, right on the France border. Well, almost. That's I don't remember seeing earthquakes here. This is unusual. 4.6 Spain. And then here, Mediterranean and so forth. So, okay, we had here in Indonesia 7.1. Now it was in the ocean. This was on the 28th, 513 kilometers deep. So with it that deep, being in the ocean, probably no damage. So this was near Gili Air, Indonesia. Probably no tsunami. Yeah, see, no tsunami. So this is an active region. There's a cluster around Tonga. Okay, here was a big one just south of Kamchatka, Russia. 6.1 in the Kuril Islands, 146 kilometers deep. That was big. That probably caused plate movement. Here's another one, Russia, 4.4, Borisovy, Russia. That was on the 2nd. And look at all this activity up here in the Bering Strait. Wow. We've got 5 here this week. So, our Arctic earthquakes picked up this week. So 3.1 on the 28th, 4.7 on the 30th, 2.6 on the 31st, 3.1 on the 31st, and 2.5 on the 3rd. So we'll see more and more as the ice melts, especially off the land masses like Greenland, and the glaciers melt. And what other big ones? Let's look at the U.S. Quite a bit of activity on this Juan de Fuca plate. Look at this. And at the fulcrum point. So we've got, how many here? 11. So here, 3.4 on the 30th, just west of the Juan de Fuca plate, and a 3.0 on the 3rd. Here's a 2.8 on the 28th, 2.8 on the 28th, 2.6 on the 29th, right at the base, and then these 4 around the fulcrum point. So there's that. Look at this. 84 in the Pacific Northwest. 84. There had to be some swarming. Look at this. I missed this week. This is Mount St. Helens. Yeah, right in the crater. Look at that. 26. Now we've got a couple on the flank up here and one down here. So 23 in the crater or right on the edge, or coming down. So how big are these? These are small, but it's movement, and it was a little swarm. 2.4, that's what kicked this off on the 27th, last Sunday. 2.4 here, right there, right in the crater, 3.7 kilometers deep. And then So that was on the 27th. And then it kept going. 28th, 29th, 30th. So the second, and I mean, it's just kept going, a few each day. So 26, Mount St. Helens. That doesn't account for 84 though. Okay, here is Mount Rainier. We've got 29 here. I think these volcanoes are coming back to action, coming back to life. Yeah, these are small. They're all under 1. Oh, 1.3 is the largest. But some are right in the crater and then around the flanks. And then, see, here's a swarm further down, 18. Look at that. So, I would say magma is rising. That's what I would say. .1 Greenwood. That's near Seattle. So those two made up most of those earthquakes. And see, I mean, there's just so many all across. Let's just see the bigger ones. 7 days, 4.5 magnitude. See, nothing at 4.5 magnitude here. So 7 days, 2.5 magnitude and higher. We've got, well, quite a few, but they're not huge. They're 2.5 to under 4.5. Mainly 3s, and they're mainly 2.5s. We have 3.6 San Clemente Island. It's off the coast of California. That was on the 29th. 3.4 California, Mexico. It's at Baja on the 28th, and so on. Oh, there was a 3.3 near Wesley, California on the 30th at a negative 0.4 kilometer depth. So magma's rising when it's at the negative depth like that. And this is just southeast of San Francisco area. So there's that. There was also 3.1 Shingletown. This is not far from Mount Shasta. Let's see. Yeah, right there. Shingletown, just east of Redding. And then here's a few throughout the U.S. So, that's my report for tonight. And we will finish up by bringing it back to a spiritual perspective. We're reading out of the book of Tobit, which is in the Apocrypha, considered the books that were considered to be in the Bible, but were not in the final version. Tobit chapter 5. Tobias then answered and said, Father, I will do all things which thou hast commanded me. But how can I receive the money, seeing I know him not? Then he gave him the handwriting, and said unto him, Seek thee a man which may go with thee, whiles I yet live, and I will give him wages, and go and receive the money. Therefore, when he went to seek a man, he found Raphael, that was an angel. But he knew not, and he said unto him, Canst thou go with me to Rages? And knowest thou those places well? To whom the angel said, I will go with thee, and I know the way well, for I have lodged with our brother Gabael. Then Tobias said unto him, Tarry for me till I tell my father. Then he said unto him, Go and tarry not. So he went in and said to his father, Behold, I have found one which will go with me. Then he said, Call him unto me, that I may know of what tribe he is, and whether he be a trusty man to go with thee. So he called him, and he came in, and they saluted one another. Then Tobit said unto him, Brother, shew me of what tribe and family thou art. To whom he said, Dost thou seek for a tribe or family, or an hired man to go with thy son? Then Tobit said unto him, I would know, brother, thy kindred and name. Then he said, I am Azarias, the son of Ananias the great, and of thy brethren. Then Tobit said, Thou art welcome, brother. Be not now angry with me, because I have inquired to know thy tribe and thy family, for thou art my brother, of an honest and good stock. For I know Ananias and Jonathas, sons of that great Samias, as we went together to Jerusalem to worship, and offered the firstborn and the tenths of the fruits, and they were not seduced with the error of our brethren. My brother, thou art of a good stock. But tell me, what wages shall I give thee? Wilt thou a drachm a day, and things necessary as to mine own son? Yea, moreover, if ye return safe, I will add something to thy wages. So they were all pleased. Then said he to Tobias, Prepare thyself for the journey, and God send you a good journey. And when his son had prepared all things for the journey, his father said, Go thou with this man, and God, which dwelleth in heaven, prosper your journey, and the angel of God keep you company. So they went forth both, and the young man's dog went with them. But Anna his mother wept, and said to Tobit, Why hast thou sent away our son? Is he not the staff of our hand, in going in and out before us? Be not greedy to add money to money, but let it be as refuse. in respect of our child. For that which the Lord hath given us to live with doth suffice us. Then said Tobit to her, Take no care, my sister, he shall return in safety, and thine eyes shall see him. For the good angel will keep him company, and his journey shall be prosperous, and he shall return safe. Then she made an end of weeping. Tobit chapter 5. So we're seeing angels, all the way through. Wherever we read, angels are helping and coming and, showing up and escorting people and protecting and all kinds of things. And, I think it happens now. I don't think that these things stopped. I think we are not sensitive to them. And, if we give our lives to God and Jesus and pray and, walk a righteous path and ask for guidance and, that we repent of our sins and ask to be forgiven and, like I said, walk a righteous life, a righteous path, we will have favor in the Lord, and He'll send His angels to help us and protect us and lead us and whatever we need, and whenever we get in trouble. So if you haven't given your life to Jesus Christ, I recommend it before it's too late. So that's my show for tonight. I hope everyone has as good a week as possible, and Lord willing, I'll be here next Sunday and do another update for y'all. God bless you. Go in peace. I love you all, and I will talk to you soon. Good night.